Hello, welcome to the second little video that shows how to set up discussion boards in Blackboard. In the first video we created a discussion board, or a forum rather, and we created a link to it in this content area. Where this forum has been created, you can go and see it in the control panel. There's a section called discussion board, and if we go into there, this is the discussion board for the site. This is the name of this site that I'm using. If I go into it, we can see inside there is a forum setup. This is the forum that I set up before within the discussion board. So the discussion board holds everything inside our forums, and if I click on this general discussion here, click on it, I can go into that forum. And we get to this place where you can create inside a forum a thread, and depending on how you set the forum up, it can be only you that creates a thread, or you can get other participants to create threads as well. So a thread is like a thread of discussion. This person poses a question, somebody else replies to that, etc., etc. So it's a thread of discussion that we're talking about. So if you're using discussion boards, and you're creating forums, and you're using them for as a response to an activity or something like that, it's a good idea to create a thread that people can respond to, that the students can respond to. So I'm going to do that in this forum. I'm going to click on create thread, and it'll come up with a form for me to fill in. Taking a couple of seconds. There we are. I've just got to click on this to say yes, I can run JavaScript, and then I'm going to make a subject up for this thread. So I'm going to say week. Let's click on that. There's a title, and then I can put in the message, and this obviously could be formatted using these tools here. I'm going to do something very simple, but the message of the thread could be posing a question, it could be describing an activity, it could be explaining what sort of things that the student needs to put in as a response. So I'm going to put in something very simple, but what you put in this message box that the student is going to respond to could be as simple or as complex as you like. So I'm just going to say, please set out etc. So I'm going to put something very short in here, but you can use this area to set out the ground rules of what you expect people to respond, how much you expect them to respond, the style of language you expect them to respond in, etc., etc. So it's just something that people can respond to. I have an option to attach a file if I want to, so if there was sort of further reading I wanted them to do before they responded, I could attach a file for them to look at. I can save a draft and come back to it later, or submit it by clicking here or clicking on submit at the top. I'll do that now. Okay, so that thread is now set up. Now one of the things you can do in Blackboard when you've set up a thread is you can create hyperlinks directly to a particular thread. So you could actually in a forum set up a number of different threads and then create links to a specific one from a part of your Blackboard site. Now the way you do this is by right clicking on the actual link to the thread itself. you can choose to save the link or copy the link address. I'm going to copy the link address. This is the URL to this particular thread. Then I'm going to go back to a content area, and here's the link that I set up when I actually set up the forum before, and I'll just show you what happens when you click on that. It goes into the forum and it'll list any threads that have been set up. So I've only got one thread, but if I set up multiple threads, they'd all be listed all together like that. I'm just going to go back a step and just show you that if you wanted to, you could create a link to just that specific thread. And the way you do it is just create an item. This is what you normally use if you're going to upload a file or something like that. You can put in a title for that item. Again, I'm going to put in something very, very brief. And again, you've got space to put much more detail if you want to. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight one of these words. I'm going to just select it, and then I'm going to create a hyperlink by clicking on this little world icon here. And let me just pull this down so you can see it. And then I'm going to paste in that URL. You remember I copied the URL to that thread. I can put in a tooltip. Tooltips are text that pops up if you hover over the link. So you can put in some text there. And I'm going to say I'd like to open this link in a new window. I'll now submit it, and you can see I've made that into a hyperlink. I'll now submit the whole thing, the whole item, and so the item would look like that. So I've got a link here which would go to the general forum and show links to all the threads, or I can click here and it'll go directly to that thread, week 1 placement thoughts, and it shows here, look, the text that I typed inside that thread. So students could see this and then click on reply in order to respond to what I'd said. So I think that's about as much as I'm going to go with this. So thank you very much for watching. In the next video, what I'm going to do is show you what it looks like from the student point of view and how they would respond to this thread.